Hello, welcome to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Becca Oakes and I'm a craft producer here with Maker's Gonna Learn. Today we are going to be talking about printable heat transfer vinyl, also known as Iron-On. We get lots of questions about this fun product, and so I'm really excited to show you how simple it is to use. Let's talk about the supplies that we're going to be using for today's project. So the most important thing that we need to talk about today is the printable heat transfer vinyl product. New Fun makes our favorite version of this product. It is available for dark fabrics and light fabrics. However, we use the one for dark fabrics for every color fabric. We feel like it covers really well, the colors print on it really well, and it's just a really good product. It's very easy to weed, very easy to transfer, and it sticks on your material very well. In addition to this product, you're going to need an inkjet printer. What kind of inkjet printer you use is pretty much up to you. However, we love the Canon Pixma 8000 series. We have a couple in that 8000 series. What you really want to look for is a printer that feeds from the back so that you don't have the jamming issue that a lot of the printers have that feed from the bottom. So think about that when you're picking a printer. In addition to that, of course, we're going to need a shirt. This is just a 100% cotton shirt that we're using today. And then you're going to need a protective barrier between your heat transfer vinyl and your heat. So I'm going to be using a Teflon sheet today. You can also use butcher's paper if you want to. To apply the heat, we're going to be using an EasyPress today. Whatever size you have is good. Just don't use your mini EasyPress, because of how you have to move that around. You don't want to move it around with heat transfer vinyl. So something like this is great. We have our EasyPress mat, and then I'm also going to be just using a standard grip green mat today for our printable heat transfer vinyl. Okay, now that we have finished talking about supplies, we are going to go to our website, Maker's Gonna Learn, and grab a cut file and font that we're going to be using today. So if you're not familiar with us here at Maker's Gonna Learn, we run a die cut business that is a subscription-based business offering our members access to all of our cut files and fonts in our library. So we offer monthly and yearly memberships that give you access to those. We update these every single month with new cut file collections. And you can, even if you're not a member, browse our selection of cut files and fonts to see if we have what you like. But in addition to this, we also offer all sorts of education, tutorials, member-only benefits so that you can have a very successful adventure crafting projects, and we just want to be here to aid you in that and help you along the way. If you're a beginning Cricut user or a seasoned Cricut user, this membership is for you. But we're going to go ahead, and like I said, I've logged into my account here, and I'm just going to go ahead and search. I'm going to be making a shirt today for my son who loves his Nintendo Switch. And we have a couple of cute little gamer cut files here, and I'm just going to grab this one here. So I'll download that. You can see it's downloading right here. And as you can see, let me open this up here. When you download our cut files, it is in a zipped cut file or a zipped folder. And when you open that, we have the PNG and SVG versions. So one PNG is really great for stickers or print and cuts. SVGs are amazing. They're my preference because they have every single layer available to you, so you can change the colors of them if you want to. And then you can just flatten them and still create a print and cut project. So just a little bit of information. We have so many new people joining our channel, and this is a very highly searched project title. So I know we have a lot of beginners, and I just wanted to go over those with you guys. Anyway, that is downloaded, and then I'm going to come up here and I want to go find a font. So I'm going to select our font category here. And then I'm going to type in, I think it's called Gamer as well. It's called Hardcore Gamer, actually. There it is. And I'll go ahead and download it. It pops up here, and then I'll open it and just go ahead and install this here on the system. And since I haven't opened Cricut Design Space yet, when I open it, it will already be available to me. So if you already had Design Space open and then you installed that font, then you would need to relaunch Design Space. But now I can go over here and upload this image. I already have it uploaded, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again for you if you are new here. Okay, and since I have this already pulled up where I've downloaded this, then I can just drag and drop and pull this guy in here, which is exactly what I want to do. And then I can go ahead and press save. And let's readjust here just a little bit. And then we can click on that and press insert images. Now this is going to be a very quick and easy design process. Okay, now we just need to grab a text box and we're going to type in the words game on, and then we can come up to where it says fonts. We're going to select that little down arrow. I'm going to go ahead and press system, and then I can type in hardcore or just hard. And then the font that we installed is there. And I'm going to come up here and change the color of this as well. So it's black right now and I just want to make it white so it pops really good. And then we can size it down a little bit just to fit right on here on the screen. Maybe just a little bit more. And then we probably want to ungroup and then maybe move on over just a little bit so that it looks like 2 words instead of just 1. Then we can regroup and resize if we want to. And then you can even grab all of these layers and just press center so that it is centered perfectly for you. Now, all that's left to do is to select all layers by dragging and dropping just like this. And then we're gonna go down here to the bottom right-hand corner and press flatten. And when we do that, it changes it from a cut file to a print and cut file, which is exactly what we want. Now all we have left to do is measure our shirt and decide what size we want to put on our shirt, and then we'll size it here in Design Space, keeping in mind that there are print restrictions on print and cut. So the print and cut size restrictions are 6.75 by 9.25. So you can't get any bigger than that. I want this one to be 8 inches in width. So I'll just type 8 right here, leaving that size lock ratio on so that it doesn't distort it. It will automatically size the height for me based on that 8-inch width. Perfect. And then we can just click make it and we are ready to print on our printable HTV. As you can see, it goes ahead and puts it on this fun mat. If you've not seen a print and cut project before, it might look a little strange to you. So this white rectangle is a representation of your printable HTV or your cardstock, whichever you're using, excuse me. And as you can see, around the cut file, we have this black rectangle, and those are your registration marks. So once you print out your printable HTV, place it on your Cricut mat and then put it in your machine will read these registration marks or sensor marks, and that's how it knows where to cut. Now we can go ahead and press continue. We're going to connect to our maker and we'll send this to our printer. So we'll press send to printer. I like to leave add bleed on, but I also like to press use system dialog box. And when I do that, then I press print. And underneath Cricut, so I need to minimize this or move Design Space, whichever one, I can go ahead and increase the quality of my print to best or draft or whatever I want. And then I can go ahead and let it know that I want to feed from the rear tray of my printer. Then I can press print and it will print. So make sure that you are putting your printable heat transfer vinyl in your printer in the proper way. You can see the back of this has a carrier sheet. It has these blue lines on it. That is a good way for you to know the difference. So once you put that in, ours prints this way. So that's why we're putting it in that way. And then you are ready to print. Okay, once you have your piece printed out, make sure that you let it rest in the output tray for a little bit so that it has time to dry. You definitely don't want to smooth your piece down onto your mat and then make the inks run or rub off. Also, if you have clammy hands, I hate to even say this, make sure they're good and dry before you do this, because even if this happens to be dry, if your hands are sort of sweaty or clammy or a little bit not dry, then you could also make that run. Anyway, we're going to just put this on our mat like I've just done, and then we can stick it in our machine, and we'll jump over back into Design Space so I can show you what material setting we're going to use to cut this printable HTV today. Okay, back over in Design Space, we're just going to press Browse All Materials, and then we can come up and search our material, and you can type in printable and all of the printable options come up. So we have printable iron-on dark, printable iron-on light, and the difference in printable iron-on dark and light is that the dark has a white background and the light has a clear background. It just helps the light, you wouldn't see the white all the way around it, if that makes sense, because it's not white, it's clear. But it does feel a little bit different, so that's why there are two settings for it. So you can use printable iron-on for dark because that's what we're using. Gonna press done, and then we can load our mat into our machine. Once that has cut out, you are ready to just go ahead and weed the excess. It comes off very easily. And as you can see, it cut really, really well. It doesn't have any extra like white around it or anything like that. And that is because I have recently calibrated our machine for print and cut. If you are making cuts with print and cuts and it looks a little off, like there's a weird outline around it, or it's sort of cutting off some of your image, then definitely calibrate your machine. It will help tremendously. If you have not done that before and are curious about how to do it, we do have videos here on the YouTube channel. Just go ahead and search how to print or how to calibrate your machine, and we give you excellent step-by-step instructions on how to do that. But now that that is weeded, we're just going to remove the mat from the vinyl, and as you can see, this just comes up just like this. Now, I want to say, this can stretch out, so definitely make sure that you're doing it gently. You don't want to pull it and distort it and sort of stretch it out. I will also say, as you can see, this is one easy piece to transfer over. If you're going to be doing, like if I had put these words up here and cut them out individually, then I would have to place them individually with my hands or tweezers or whatever. And sometimes that's really frustrating. There is not a transfer sheet for this. If you use a tape or a transfer sheet or something like that and try to transfer it over, then it will remove some of the ink from it. It's just not a good idea. Anyway, we are ready to go ahead and put that on our shirt. So let's move this over. We'll flatten our shirt out here and make sure that we don't have any wrinkles or anything like that in it. It does have a few wrinkles, so we're gonna just iron those out with our EasyPress. Okay, so to iron out these, I'm just gonna, like I said, use my EasyPress. I did go ahead and preheat it to 350, so I can just grab it and start ironing out. You definitely don't wanna leave any wrinkles in there, because if you iron your printable heat transfer vinyl over wrinkles, then you will have a wrinkled transfer. You don't want that. Also, something to think about, you may want to get some pre-washed or pre-shrunk shirts. If you don't have those, then go ahead and pre-wash them and dry them. You definitely want to do that prior to putting your heat transfer vinyl on, even regular heat transfer vinyl, not just printable, because if you put this on and then wash it and dry it and there is shrinkage, then the printable or the vinyl does not shrink, but the shirt does, and it will bubble up or kind of peel and look wrinkly, and you just don't want that. But once I have those ironed out, I am ready to place this on the shirt. We're just gonna get it even here. And once you're happy with your placement, then you can go ahead and grab your butcher's paper or your Teflon sheet, either one, and then you can place it down. The one thing that I do like about butcher's paper over Teflon sheets is that they're easier to see through. So if you've accidentally wrinkled this or curled it up, then you can see through and see if that's happened or not. You can still do it here with the Teflon sheet, but the butcher's paper is a little more see-through and more easy to see that. But once we have that set down, then we're just ready to grab our little EasyPress, and we're gonna go for about 25 seconds. And as you can see, this EasyPress will not fit over the entire image. So once this 25 seconds is finished, then I'll just move it over and it will be absolutely fine to do that. Okay, once the time is up, then you will just remove your Teflon sheet or your butcher's paper, whichever you're using, and you are finished with this project. You don't have to seal it or anything like that. I love printable heat transfer vinyl, especially this one, because it's very thin. It doesn't feel stiff on the shirt. It doesn't feel like you could scrape up the edge and pull it off like sometimes regular heat transfer vinyl does. But as you can see, also the colors got a little bit deeper once you apply heat to it. So if you print your image out and you're like, oh, it's not as rich as I thought it would be, don't fret. It will get a little bit darker when you apply the heat. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial on printable heat transfer vinyl. And if you haven't tried it before, get to crafting. It's going to be so much fun. As always, guys, we have content here almost every single day on our YouTube channel. So check back, turn on your notifications, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're not a Maker's Gonna Learn member, head on over to our website, check it out, and become part of a wonderful community of die cut crafters that give you lots of inspiration, education, and motivation to get crafty and use your imagination. Have a fantastic day.